Hello, everybody. It's my pleasure to introduce Benjamin Schren from Paris Sud, or maybe as it is called today, Université Paris-Saclay. And he will give a series of talks on mod P representations of GL2K. So please go ahead.
Okay, thank you for the introduction, and thank you too for the invitation to speak to this online conference. Can you hear me correctly now with the microphone like this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's great.
So this series of talks will be about modulo P representation of the group GL2. So there will be essentially three parts. In the first part, I will present some generalities concerning these representations. Secondly, I will speak about the situation of the group GL2 of QP. So when the coefficient field, the coefficients of the matrices are QP, which is now well known. And in a third part, I will speak about the situation for finite extensions of QP. So essentially in the unramified case. So for the group GL2L, when L is an unramified extension of QP. So in this case, the situation is less clear, and so I will present what are the problems which appear and what are the some of the partial solutions that we have now. Okay, so in the first time, I will begin with the general part. Generalities about mod P representation of p-adic Lie groups. So I will fix once for all some P a prime number and some coefficient field F, which will be a finite field of characteristic P. And most of the time, the letter G will denote some p-adic Lie group. That is locally analytic, QP analytic variety with a structure of group for which the usual operations are locally analytic maps. So the representation that will interest us are the smooth representation of this field over of this group over vector space over F. And so a smooth representation of G over F is a pair pi V, where V is usually infinite dimensional F vector space, and pi is an action of G over V by F linear automorphisms, such that all the stabilizer of elementor V are open subgroup of G. It's an open subgroup. So this is equivalent to the fact that the orbit maps of these actions are locally constant maps, locally constant functions over G. So perhaps just let me give some quick examples of such representation. So first you have the characters of G with value in F star, so they are which are locally constant. So they are one-dimensional smooth representation. And then from these characters, you can construct lots of other representation by induction. For example, if H is a co-compact subgroup of G, so it has naturally a structure of p-adic Lie group, and you can consider the induction from H to G of a smooth representation. So I should say that theta W is a smooth representation of H, like by the following construction. This induction is the space of all functions from G to W, which are locally constant, and semi-invariant under H, which means that f of Hg is the action of H in W on the value of f in G. So for all elements H in big H and G in big G. Okay, and it is a smooth representation of G for the following action. An element of G will act on F by translation on the right. So it is an example of smooth representation of G. So for example, if you choose a character of H, you can induce it to G and you obtain a new example of smooth representation of G. Okay. So now I would like to say some words about the case where G is a compact group, because in this case, then we can consider this smooth representation as modules over some completed group algebra of G. So now the case of compact group. So now assume that K is a compact p-adically group. Then in particular, it is a profinite group. And as a profinite group, it is isomorphic to a projective limit of finite quotient. So it means a quotient of K by U, where U is an open and normal subgroup of K. So when you have such a description of K, you can define its completed group algebra, which is a projective limit over all these U's of the group algebra of the finite quotient. So it's a completed group algebra, which is also known as Iwasawa algebra. But an Iwasawa algebra with coefficient in the finite field. Most of the time, Iwasawa algebras are considered with coefficient in discrete valuation rings. Okay, and so for the projective limit topology, so this space has a natural topology, which is the projective limit topology. It is a compact topological F algebra. So compact because it is a projective limit of finite sets. Okay, so what is the link with smooth representation of K? So assume that pi v is a smooth representation of K. So by assumption, if you fix some vector v in V, so this vector v is fixed by an open subgroup of K. So it means that the subspace, the sub F vector space generated by F and V is the subspace generated by the finite group algebra of K mod U, for U, some open subgroup contained in the stabilizer of V. And this means that you have a unique structure of module on V, on module over this completed group algebra. On V extending the structure of module over the group algebra. Okay, and you can check that this module is smooth module. In the sense that each vector is killed by some open ideal. Each vector is killed by an open ideal in this completed group algebra. So let's say a vector V in V. And so conversely, if you start with some smooth module over this completed group algebra, then the action of K on this the F vector space that you can deduce is automatically a smooth representation. So this tells you that you have an equivalence of category between the category of smooth representation of your compact Lie group K on F vector space and the category of smooth module over this completed group algebra. Okay, so it's a way to transform group representation in modules. So what is interesting with this description is that we have a duality theory between discrete F vector space and compact topological F vector space. So if V is an F vector space, you can consider its F linear dual. And this F linear dual, if you undo it with the topology of the pointwise convergence, it becomes a compact topological F vector space. Okay, so why? Because in fact, you can just describe it as the direct limit of the dual of all finite dimensional subvector spaces of F. And this topology of pointwise convergence is the direct limit topology on this direct limit. And because all these spaces are finite vector spaces, the direct limit is compact. So you obtain a compact topological F vector space. And this structure of topological F vector space on the dual is very important because it gives the possibility to recover V from its dual, its topological dual. So I would like to give it a name. I will call it V check. Conversely, if W is a compact topological F vector space, then you can define its topological dual. So now the set of continuous linear forms over W. So this is an F vector space, and you obtain by this construction an anti-equivalence of category between the category of discrete F vector spaces and the category of compact topological F vector spaces. So in one direction, you take this dual, and in the other direction, you take the topological dual. So it is an anti-equivalence of categories because this duality functor is contravariant, obviously. So what becomes interesting is that when you combine this duality on F vector spaces with the description of smooth representation of p-adic Lie groups in terms of modules, because now you have a structure of module on the dual. And if you combine the two, what you obtain is a anti-equivalence of categories between the category of smooth representation of K on F vector spaces. So it is an anti-equivalence of categories. And the category of compact modules over the completed group algebra. Okay, and what is the functor? You take some smooth representation of K, you view it as a smooth module over the completed group algebra, you dualize it, and you see the dual as a module over F double bracket K. So just let me make some remark, because I didn't precise if I was considering left modules or right modules. Essentially, it is not an issue, because you have permutation of K, which is a group given by the inverse, and this inverse map gives you an isomorphism of the completed group ring with its opposite ring, and it lets you convert freely left modules with right modules just by composing with this this isomorphism of rings. So okay, that's why I don't precise usually if we are considering left modules or right modules. On the dual, you should have a structure of right module, but using this isomorphism, it becomes a left module. Okay, so now this description tells us that the smooth representation of compact p-adic Lie groups are equivalent, is equivalent to the data of a compact module over the completed group algebra of K. So now it's interesting to have some structure results concerning this completed group algebra. And most of these structure results are due to Lazare in the general case. And so let me present an example of structure results for this group algebra. So first of all, I would like to make some remark. If K is a propy group, then we know that if V is a smooth representation of K, then V will have non-zero fixed vectors under K. It is just because if you have a finite P group which is acting on some finite set of cardinal power of P, if it has the numbers of fixed point is automatically divisible by P. So as 0 is fixed, you have other points than 0 which are fixed under K. So perhaps you have to assume that V is non-zero. Okay, so what does it mean under this anti-equivalence of category? So it implies that the only irreducible smooth representation of K is the trivial one. And translated with this anti-equivalence of categories between smooth representation of compact F bracket K module, this means that this algebra has a unique open and maximal ideal. And this ideal is exactly the augmentation ideal of this algebra. So what Lazare theorems say is that more generally, if K is an analytic propy group, then this ring is Noetherian, and consequently, all its maximal ideals are open, And then in the case of a Propy group, this completed group algebra is even a local ring. So I will state the main structure results that we will use, and which is due to Lazar, and I think it comes from 665. So let G be some periodically group, not necessarily compact now. Then, first of all, the first result is that G contains automatically some open Propy group. So it contains some compact open subgroup, which is Propy. Moreover, if now, so we are, it means that it is very important to understand the situation with Propy group. So if G is, moreover, a Propy group, that's, so it is a periodic analytic group, which is moreover a Propy group. We will call this group analytic Propy group. Then the group algebra of G is a complete local and Noetherian ring. And in this case, you can even consider its graded algebra. So a graded algebra for the M-adic filtration, where M is the maximal ideal of this ring. So it is a tensor, the direct sum of all the quotient of the consecutive powers of the maximal ideal of this ring. So let me call Mg the maximal ideal. Then this is a graded F algebra. And this graded F algebra is Noetherian. And you can even be more precise. In general, so when G is not necessarily compact now, G always contains an open Propy group for which the completed group algebra is particularly nice. It means, let's say H, such that the graded algebra of the completed group algebra of H is commutative and is even isomorphic to a polynomial ring in D variable, where D is the dimension of H, and which is also the dimension of G, because H is an open subset of G as a QP analytic variety. Okay, and so we will see that the existence of such open Propy group is very important in order to understand some properties of smooth representation of G. Okay. So now I would like to make some remark. The remark is the following. So assume that P is an analytic Propy group. So as in the theorem before. And let MP be the maximal ideal of its completed group algebra. Then this ideal can be described as augmentation ideal of this algebra. So it is generated by elements of the form G minus 1, where G is the element of the group algebra corresponding to an element of P. So it is the maximal ideal generated by this element. Okay, and so with this description, we can check that if V is a smooth representation of P, then the dual of the subset of vectors which are fixed by P is isomorphic to the quotient of the dual of V, which is a compact FP module, by the subspace generated by the maximal ideal and by V. Okay, so it is can also be seen as a tensor product over the completed group algebra of the dual of V with a quotient of FP by its maximal ideal. Okay, and what is very nice is that now, because we know that FP is a compact and Noetherian algebra, we can use the topological version of Nakayama lemma to conclude that the dual of V, which is a F bracket P module, is finitely generated if and only if this space is finite dimensional, which is equivalent to say that V, the subset of vector of V fixed by P, is finite dimensional. So you obtain the following corollary. Assume that pi V is a smooth representation of G over F, then the following assertions are equivalent. So first, there exists some open propy group in G such that the vectors of V fixed by P form a finite dimensional vector space over F. Equivalently, for all compact open subgroup K in G, the subspace of vectors which are fixed by K are finite dimensional. And thirdly, so by this topological Nakayama lemma, for all K in G, compact open subgroup, the dual of V is finitely generated as a module over the completed group algebra of K. Okay, so essentially, this equivalence follows directly from the existence results of Lazar, of analytic open propy group, of the Noetherianity of this completed group algebra, and of this duality. You only have to use, moreover, I stated because I will use it a couple of times later, that if K prime is an open subgroup of K compact, then the completed group algebra of K is finite free as a module over the completed group algebra of K prime, which is something which is really easy to check with definition of FK. So you have to use this description to pass from the fact that the dual of V is finitely generated as the module over the completed algebra of P to the completed algebra of K, for example. Okay, so if these conditions are satisfied, if one of these conditions is satisfied, the representation pi of V is said to be admissible. Okay, and as the ring F K is Noetherian for K compact, we can deduce that the category of admissible smooth representation of G is an abelian category. So we have a very nice category of smooth representation to study, which satisfies some good finiteness property. So in fact, this representation corresponds to finitely generated modules over Iwasawa algebra in the compact case. And when the group is not compact, you still have an equivalence with finitely generated modules over some Iwasawa algebra, but you have to add some extension of the group action to the non-compact group, which is bigger. But in fact, these representations are very close from modules over Iwasawa algebras. Okay, so let's just give. I just want to give some quick example, so very simple example. When the group K is ZP, then, as Stefano explained, the completed group algebra of ZP is isomorphic to a polynomial algebra. Isomorphism being defined by the map sending some generator of ZP, for example, 1 to the polynomial 1 plus x. And because this ring is a PID, we know what are these finite, we know we have a classification of its finitely generated modules. And so we can conclude that the admissible representation of ZP, a smooth representation, are of the following form. They are some finite direct sum of the space of locally constant function on ZP with coefficient in F plus some finite dimensional representation of ZP, so it will factor through some quotient over F. And this is the space of locally constant functions of ZP with value into F. And why do we have this description? It just comes from the fact that this is a smooth representation. In fact, it's an example of induction. It is induction from the trivial subgroup to ZP of the trivial character. And its dual is isomorphic to the finite free module of rank 1 over the completed algebra of ZP. Okay, so now the classification of finitely generated modules over PID gives you this classification of admissible representation of ZP. So I think that's a nice example to have in mind to understand what are admissible representation of these groups. Okay. So So now I would like to describe a dimension theory for admissible smooth representation of G. So usually these representations are finite dimensional over the coefficient field F, but there is still a notion of dimension which will be closer from the notion of dimension of the support of the module which is associated to these representations. So the basic idea is that if K is an analytic Propy group, then its completed group algebra looks like I don't want to be precise now, looks like a commutative regular ring. But we are in the non-commutative situation, so we have to make this precise. Okay, so in order to motivate the following definition, I would like to recall the following fact, which is a theorem due to Serre, that if A is a Noetherian commutative ring of finite global dimension, then A is a regular ring. By regular ring in the commutative setup, I mean that all the localization of this ring are local regular rings, which means that they are Noetherian and their maximal ideal is generated by a regular sequence. So here, finite global dimension means the following. It means that the maximal integer n such that there exists finitely generated A module having some non-trivial extension such that xn is non-zero is bounded. So it is the projective dimension, the max of the projective dimensions of all finitely generated A modules. And so this characterization sounds more adapted to a generalization to the non-commutative setting which interests us. So let me give the following definition, which is due to Björk, I think. I think Björk was motivated by the situation of D modules, by the case of D modules. A ring A, which is now not necessarily commutative, is Ostrander regular if the following hypothesis, if it has the following properties. So first of all, A is Noetherian. So left and right Noetherian. And A has a finite global dimension. And here we should also precise left and right. We will very soon apply this to the case of group algebras. And because group algebras are isomorphic to their opposite ring, the left and right global dimension will coincide for them. So that's why I don't insist too much about this distinction between left and right. And unfortunately, it's not enough to have a good theory of regular ring in the non-commutative setup. We have to add some condition, which is the following. A satisfies what is called the Oslander condition. And now I will explain to you what is this Oslander condition. So this Oslander condition is a kind of it is some condition of homological algebra. So this Oslander condition is the following. First of all, I have to introduce some notation. If M is an A module, then what we call the grade of M is the smallest integers n, such that thext n of M with A is non-zero. So the origin of this definition comes from the, I think, from the commutative setup 2, and comes from the theory of duality in the category, in the derived category of coherent sheaves over schemes. So that's essentially the motivations behind this definition. And the Oslander condition is the following. So we say that A has the Oslander property if for all finitely generated A module M, and for all submodule N sub A module N of the X J of M with A, the grade of N as an A module is larger, bigger than J. So here I should precise that this A is not a commutative ring, so we have to be careful about the structure of A module on this X space. But as A is a bimodule, this Xj will be a right A module. And so we can speak about its sub-A module. It will be a sub-right A module. And why is this condition? This condition doesn't appear in the commutative case. Actually, in the commutative case, it is automatic. If A is a commutative regular ring, this condition is automatic. Why? Because the duality theory of modules over commutative regular rings tells us that this GA of M that I defined here can be characterized geometrically as the codimension in the spec of A of the support of the A module M. So geometrically, it should be viewed as a codimension of some support. And so you see that the Ostrander condition will be automatic, because if P is a prime ideal in spec A, then if you localize this X group at P, you can describe it as the X group in the category of module over the localization of AP at P. And now AP is still a regular ring, because the localization of a regular ring is irregular. And because the CZG theorem of Hilbert tells you that a finitely generated module over a regular ring has a projective resolution which is as length less or equal to the dimension of the ring. So this will be 0 if J is larger than the dimension of the local ring AP. And this dimension is exactly the codimension of in spec A of the variety defined by P. So using this fact, you check that automatically this module will be 0 when okay, the codimension of this module should be bigger than J, which is exactly what we want. Okay, so now let me tell you what are the nice properties of this Ostrander regular ring properties. In fact, we can define a notion of dimension of the support of finitely generated modules over Ostrander regular ring. So assume that A is Ostrander regular. And assume that M is the finitely generated A module. Let's say left A module. Then if so, first of all, you have the following property: if N is a sub module of the xj of M with A, and assume that N is a non-zero submodule, then its grade as a A module is equal to J. So it's kind of purity condition. And using this purity condition, you can check that if you have a short exact sequence of finitely generated A module, then the grade of M is equal to the nth of the grades of M prime and M double prime. So you have to think about this J A of M as the codimension of the support of M. You see that this condition 2 tells you that essentially this function behaves like a codimension. And actually, to prove one, it's not completely obvious from the Ostrander condition, but you have to use the Ostrander condition. You use Ostrander condition. Plus the existence of some biduality spectral sequence. which has the following form. On the second page, the term in degree P and Q is the xp in A of x minus q in A of MA, value in A, and it converges to the module M. So in fact, you have a notion of duality for this finitely generated module over A, but in the derived category. And using the B-duality property, you can write the B-duality property under the form of some spectral sequence. And if you add the Oslander condition to properties of this spectral sequence, you can deduce something like this first property and the following property of this right function. So now I would like to come back to the theory of p-adic Lie groups. And if I'm speaking about this Oslander regular rings, it's because the p-adic Lie group, the p-adic Propy group, analytic Propy group, are Oslander regular most of the time. So this is a theorem of Van Jacob. I think it was first remarked by Van Jacob, that if K is a compact p-adic Lie group, which is moreover p-torsion free, in fact, this condition is essential. Then the completed group algebra of K is an Oslander regular. Is Oslander regular. So actually, in fact, this condition of being p-torsion free is essential because in this condition of being Oslander regular, you have a condition to be of finite projective dimension. But as you know, if you take a finite group with element of order p, they don't have bounded cohomological dimension in characteristic p. So in fact, this condition is necessary. What is very nice is that it is actually a sufficient condition. So what is the consequence of this theorem? The consequence is that we can define a good notion of dimension of smooth representation of p-adic Lie group, smooth admissible representation. So now assume that pi v is a smooth admissible representation of G, the p-adic Lie group, and fix K some open compact subgroup which is p-torsion free. Such subgroups exist by Lazar's theorem. Then you can define, you can define the codimension of pi as a G representation as the grade of the dual of the representation viewed. Oops. So you can define it as the grade of the dual of V, which is now, because the representation is admissible, a finitely generated module over the completed group ring of K. Okay, and in fact, I should say that it doesn't depend on the choice of K. Because if you modify K, you replace it by some open subgroup, which will be automatically compact. The completed group algebra of K is a finite free, and in particular flat, over Fk prime. So if you look at the X group in the category of Fk module, they will be the same as the X group in the category of Fk prime module. Okay, so they will be the same, and so the grade doesn't change because the grade is the smallest I, such that this group is non-zero. Okay, and what I didn't say, I think I forgot to tell it, is that perhaps I should try. Is that this? Okay, I forget to tell it in the theorem. Is Ostrander regular and its global dimension is the dimension of G. The dimension of G as locally analytic, as a QP locally analytic variety. Okay, so and because this dimension is exactly the dimension of G, this implies that this codimension of pi v is an integer which is between 0 and the dimension of G. Okay. Oh, it can be infinity plus infinity when V is a 0 representation, but I don't want to spend too much time on this extremal case. And so it gives us we can now define the dimension of such a representation as the complement of the dimension. So it is still an integer which is between 0 and the dimension of G. So you really have to think to it as a dimension of the support of a representation. So to illustrate this fact, just let me describe a particular case. Assume now that H is open and such that the graded algebra of the completing group ring of A is a polynomial ring. We know that such subgroup exists by the theory of Lazare. Then we can prove, okay, if pi is an admissible representation of G, then its dual is a finitely generated module over F bracket H. And we can undo it with the MH-adic filtration coming from the maximal ideal of F bracket J. And so with this M-adic, if it has an M-adic filtration, you can consider the graded module for this M-adic filtration. And this graded module is now a module over the graded ring of F bracket H. But this is a commutative ring. So now you can speak about its support if you view the module as a coherent sheaf over the spectrum. And then you can check that in this case, the dimension of this representation pi v is exactly the dimension of the support of the graded module associated to pi in the spectrum of this graded algebra, which is actually an affine scheme of dimension D over F. So this is the geometric interpretation of this dimension. Okay, so I think I will stop here for today. And I will continue and give some more examples of computation of this dimension during the next talk.
So thank you very much. And are there questions? Please unmute yourself and yeah, anybody? Well, if nobody asks, I had a small question. So we heard in Stefano Mora's talk about the theory of Schneider-Teitelbaum in the case of Banach space representations. So does this dimension theory carry over to that situation as well, or?
Yes, of course. I was just speaking about mod P representation, so
right. But if you were doing the p-adic, it would carry to the
yes
theory that Stefano Mora described as well.
Yes, exactly. And so, in fact, you could replace here the coefficient field with some complete discrete valuation ring. But here you have to add some variables. The graded algebra will still have one additional variable, epsilon, which corresponds to the p actually. So yes. the graded algebra will still be an algebra of characteristic p, but it will have some additional variable coming from p in this situation.
Okay. Thank you very much. Any more questions? Well, maybe people are keeping their questions to the next talks. May I suggest something?
Maybe I can ask the motivational question just to put things in perspective. So you mentioned you were going to do GL2QP and then GL2L, etc. So where are you headed, Benjamin? Because there was a lot of abstract commutative algebra. Where are you headed?
Hmm?
What's the plan of the course? Where are you headed in the next 2 or 3 days?
So next time I will speak about GL2QP. So I will explain how to compute this dimension for representation of GL2QP.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So yeah, I see that most people are silent. So may I suggest both in the case of Benjamin and Fred that gave excellent introductory talks that maybe at the beginning of the second talk, you'd let people just ask questions if there was something that they didn't understand in the first talk and they had to have some time to digest. So I don't know, but just for the general audience. Okay, so thank you again, and let's thank Benjamin.